It's time for the Indy Racing League's annual outing to Japan and to Honda's magnificent twin-ring Motegi track. But a Honda-powered IRL car has never won here. So there's a lot at stake as 22 cars line up for today's Indy Japan 300. Hello and a warm welcome to round 3 of the 2004 Indy Racing League season. A lot of excitement today for British fans because the big news is that Buckinghamshire's Dan Weldon in the Andretti Green Racing Dallara Honda will start the race on pole. That's 2 on the trot, and he's looked extremely strong all through qualifying. And joining us today, I'm delighted to welcome the reigning Ascard Days of Thunder champion Ben Collins, who's currently investigating the chance of competing in the Indy Racing League later in the year, and we'll be discussing Ben's future plans a little later. He's joined by our regular Indy Racing car expert, Paul Cherry. But first, after a hectic couple of days of qualifying, let's check out the headlines. Dan Weldon has put it on the pole again after a very strong qualifying run in somewhat windy conditions. Dan's fellow Brits, Dario Franchitti and Darren Manning, have been eclipsed by the 25-year-old and line up in 9th and 10th places. Alongside Dan on the front row, Greg Ray produces his best qualifying effort in 3 years to start in 2nd place. And reigning champion Scott Dixon takes a start in 6th place despite a practice crash which has left him with a hairline fracture in the lower leg. Ben Collins, many thanks for joining us here. You've got a very, very busy weekend indeed. In fact, very quickly, you're running in the London Marathon tomorrow.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Actually, 26 miles, so it should be a bit of fun. A bit slower than the racing I'm used to, but all good.
Well, it's not going to be slow in twin ring Motegi, that's for sure. I think we need to have your thoughts on Dan Weldon's, again, superb qualifying position of pole, 2 on the trot. He really is on a roll at the moment with Andretti Green, isn't he? Yeah,
it's a brilliant effort, and they've been quick all the way through the season. But in particular, he's got 3 experienced teammates that he's with, and he's eclipsing them every time, so he's really shining.
Paul, eclipsing your teammates is probably the first job for a driver to do, of course, but how much of the team behind him to get him here?
The team are very focused on being a team, and as Ben says, that the fact that he's got 3 teammates really does help with the information. But on 2 occasions now, he's gone out and used that information to the best of his ability.
Dan Weldon definitely on a roll. Now, as we said in the headlines, there was an action-packed 2 days of qualifying and practice, and several cars hit the wall. Among those, of course, was Scott Dixon, who sustained that hairline fracture. Let's have a look at all the incidents with commentary from our regular US team of Larry Rice and Gary Lee.
We've had a number of drivers injured, or I should say crashed. There was a hairline fracture for the driver of cart number 1, and that was Scott Dixon. We also had Schechter involved. There is Dixon going back to the infield care center with that hairline fracture on his left ankle.
Yeah, and you can see right here we had other crashes as well. That's Sam Harnish, who just, the wind caught him, took him out of the grove and right up into the wall down in turns 3 and 4. 3 and 4 were the corners where everybody had the problems because the wind was very gusty and the racetrack was very dirty on the first day of practice.
Well, the winds could still be a problem here this afternoon, Larry, because they have been very gusty.
That's Takagi, who also crashed. There were 4 crashes on the very first day here at Motegi. And Takagi just got in that turns 3 and 4 once again. A little bit of a tailwind took him in there. He had some neck pain. They took him to the hospital, checked him out, but he was okay.
A lot of big crashes there. Ben, if I can come to you first. Windy and a dirty track, not a combination you'd really want.
No, it's the worst type of wind as well if it's gusting like that, because it's just not consistent. So you get used to a level of grip on one lap and come around. If the winds change direction or stop blowing as hard or harder, then you'll lose downforce. And looking at those accidents, that seems to be what happened. Just lost the front end, a few of them.
What can a team do, Paul, in these circumstances? I mean, how can they dial that kind of eventuality out of the scenario?
Well, this all happened on the first day, and whilst the wind obviously played a major part, the track was very dirty. This circuit only gets used once a year, and that's also going to play into the hands. And you've really got to assess everything after qualifying to see whether you think the wind's going to play up on the race day.
Indeed. Well, Paul, the cars are already out on the track, so perhaps a quick question. Dan Weldon, again, absolutely superb on the front row of the grid. Andretti Green have got it all sorted out. What do you think they've been going through to actually get them to this position?
Meticulous preparation, first and foremost. This race is very, very important to Honda. They've been trying to win it for 6 years now, and they will definitely look at every detail, and their team strategy also works very, very well. So hopefully we're in for a good race. Let's keep our fingers crossed.
Well, thanks to both of you, and let's now cross to Japan for the grid lineup.
Yeah, 22 cars here, very close in qualifying, especially the first 12 or 14.
Well, the front row, Danny Weldon, as we indicated, his second straight pole position for Andretti Green Racing. He'll be starting on the pole in that Klein Tools Jim Beam Delara with the Honda power plant. There's Greg Ray. He's had a lot of pole positions during his IRL career, but his best start since back in 2001. They'll occupy row 1. In the second row on the inside, the points leader, Tony Kanaan. He won the last outing at Phoenix. And there is Kasura Matsura, and you sure will have the fans yelling for him here this afternoon, car 55. There's Buddy Rice in number 15, your defending IRL champion, driving with the hairline fracture of the left ankle, Scott Dixon. In row 4, Sam Hornish, a two-time champion of this league, and Vitor Mira, his first ride this season. Dario Franchitti in 27, Darren Manning outside number 10. They occupy row 5. In the 6th row, Brian Herta and Scott Sharp, a former champion of this racing league. The 7th row, Roger Yasukawa, his first race this season, and Mark Taylor outside. In the 8th row, Elio Castro-Neves, a two-time winner of the Indy 500, and Thomas Schechter in number 4 for Panther Racing. Row 9, A.J. Foyt IV, and Adrian Fernandez, a two-time winner on this racetrack. There's Eddie Carpenter, a rookie in 52, and Robbie Buell in number 24 in row 10. In the 11th row, Tora Takagi and Alex Barron. Barron actually was to start up in the 10th row. They changed the engine this morning, so he has to go to the back of the pack.
Yeah, he did change engines, and of course Takagi, after his crash, he only got a couple of laps on the racetrack, so that's the reason he's back there in the back of the pack as well.
Vito Mira has some 17 starts in the Indy Racing League. He drove for John Menard, has one pole position at Nashville, but has not seen action so far this season. Just put this program together for this race, and we'll see him in this car at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway driving for the Bobby Rahal organization. Bobby Rahal and David Letterman, the late night talk show.
And they only had 3 days to put that car together. They got it together very quickly and came over here and ran very fast right off the bat.
He's only in 8th position. We look up at the front of the pack, number 26, Dan Weldon. And there's the look at that unique racetrack. Big sweeping turn up there in 1 and 2, very tight down in 3 and 4, but the turns are banked at 10 degrees. There's Kosuke Matsura, his 3rd career IRL start. He finished 11th twice.
Yeah, he's driving for Team Rahal, and he's got to be extremely happy. Hometown guy come out here and run 4th quick in his first ride with Team Rahal.
Well, we should be going green this time by 200 circuits. This should be about a 3-stop race on pit stops, but with any kind of yellows, we could see 4, maybe 5 stops here this afternoon.
Yeah, they're going to give him green next time by. You can see him motioning everybody to get up there and get in line. Everybody trying to clean their tires off, get everything ready to go, but they'll get in 2 by 2 this time down the back straightaway.
Firestone brought 8 sets of tires for each team, the same spec tire they used at last year's Indianapolis 500. This is the 90th event for the Indy Racing League, which began back in 1996. In fact, Scott Sharp has 85 starts. The co-champion of the 96 season. 77 of those starts have been with Team Kelly. So now they're lined up 2 by 2. Johnny Rutherford in the pace vehicle will set the pace off the corner through the 10-degree banking. Lined up nicely now as they start to accelerate off the corner. And we look for the green flag. There it is, and we are underway. A car already having some trouble at the top of your screen.
Dan Weldon got a great start. Greg Ray did not get such a good start and fell back into 3rd place going into turn number 1.
Greg Ray, was just 1 year ago that he put this race team together, and that's the Access Motorsports. So excellent qualifying effort this weekend for Ray. In fact, his team won the bowling tournament that kicked off the weekend.
Oh, Thomas Schechter gets very high. He got into turn number 3. The wind probably caught him a little bit, pushed him way high down there. He lost at least 2 spots, maybe 3 as Fernandez
goes on by him on the inside. Good on board through this 10-degree banking corner.
Schechter again running pretty high down there through turns 1 and 2. Doesn't seem to have the handle on this racetrack quite yet.
Weldon continues to lead. Kanaan rides in 2nd.
Look at Fernandez. He dove down in under a couple of cars right there. We got plenty of action all over the racetrack.
Well, I would think that this chassis setup would have to be a compromise between the big sweeping turn in in the one end and the real tight turn at the other.
Oh, it definitely is a compromise. Scheckter trying to get under Castroneves. Castroneves did not have a very good starting spot. He's back to 16th. He's lost a couple of positions too.
Now you're on board with Thomas Scheckter. Won at Michigan a couple of years ago for Team Cheever.
And you can see him downshift going into turn number 3.
He's looking at 55 of Matsura back in 4th position. Buddy Rice is now 5th. 6th is Fornish. 7th is Franchitti. Mira is in 8th. Dixon is in 9th, and 10th is Brian Herta. Your leader is still Weldon.
Matsura running a nice race so far, so he's doing a nice job. You can see Weldon does a pretty nice lead here early in the going, and quite a bit of distance between himself and Kanaan up front.
What a great place, though, for a young driver to be, with the likes of Michael Andretti as your car owner, Tony Kanaan as a teammate, Dario Franchitti. He's got a wealth of knowledge to draw from.
Yeah, there's Vitor Mira, who's running back in 8th place right now in a car that, like we said,
they slapped it together.
Just slapped it together. Team Rahal did a terrific job just to get this car on the racetrack and over here.
There had been some question, Larry, as to how many cars they would have at Indianapolis next month, and the 35 were entered. We had right at 33 last year, and it's been the starting field 33 since 1935, so it appears we'll have the fastest 33.
Yeah, it will be the fastest 33. They're going to have plenty of cars. The engines was the real problem. Of course, they changed to the 3-liter engine at Indianapolis. These are 3.5-liter engines. This is the last time this engine will run.
Well, the intent was to slow the cars in qualifying by 10, 12, 15 miles an hour. And some testing at Indy a couple of weeks ago would seem to indicate between the 3-liter and the new aero package that they've done that.
Oh, look at this. Scott Sharp getting passed back here in for 12th position as Darren Manning goes by.
That was Mark Taylor, number 2.
Oh, sorry.
Manning's number 10 right in front of Taylor. Riding on board with Sharp right now. Sharp back in the 13th position. And we've talked a lot about the shifting on some of these racetracks, which as we take a look at that track description.
Yeah, this is a 1.5-mile track, 10-degree banking in both corners. Of course, the 1 and 2, as we've talked about, much sharper than 3 and 4. But there's a difference. Look at the difference in the back straightaway and the front straightaway. And the reason for that banking is so the people in the front grandstands can see the back straightaway much better. You do go uphill going into the back straightaway and downhill going into turn number 3.
I noticed one big difference here in Japan than what we see in America, and that is all the flags up in the grandstand. You don't necessarily see those at an Indy Racing League event in America.
No, not nearly as much. But Honda, of course, the people who own and operate this racetrack, I think they have a lot of supporters out here today.
Right now, only 0.6 of a second now between first and second. It is a warm day here, but the concern was not for the heat; it was for the gusty, windy conditions. As Weldon has led from the pole position, his lead now is just over a half second. Kanaan is second. Ray back in the 3rd position, riding along with number 1. That is Dixon back in the 8th spot.
Yeah, Dixon, he said that hairline fracture he has in his ankle is not going to bother him. He said once he gets out of the race car, it might be sore after the race, but while he's in there, it won't be a problem for him at all.
Well, the focus factor is so great in the car that you don't think about the pain until you're actually out of the car or under yellow.
Well, that's right. You are concentrating so hard, a small amount of pain is the least of your worries in there. There's so many other things to think about.
Also, 11 laps have now been completed. Weldon continues to lead Kanaan, Ray, Rice, Matsura, Franchitti, Dixon, Hornish, Mira, and Herta rounding out the top 10. 10 of 200 laps now complete.
They could teach you a thing or two. Watch and learn. Another informative lesson from the School of Hard Knocks. The Zurich Premiership starting with Northampton v Bath tomorrow, 1:30 Sky Sports 3.
For a longer life, Cuprinol takes care of it.
Mary called this number. She received medical treatment when she wanted it.
I had a cancerous lump. They operated the next day. Life's priorities changed. For the first time, I appreciated the value of health. I wanted to enjoy my son growing up. I was fortunate. I was in safe hands. I'm here now to tell my story and enjoy the rest of my life.
Call Bupa for a personal quote on 0800 600 500.
Tomorrow, two clubs gunning for a return to the top flight. Mexon's Baggies flying high.
Jeff Horsfield.
Travel to McCarthy's Sunderland. Sunderland v West Brom tomorrow at 3, Sky Sports 1.
We've seen some good racing throughout the pack. That's Vito Mira in the number 17 car.
Yeah, he just went around Sam Harnish, so Vito Mira having a great run here in his first ride for Team Ray Hall.
He's up to 8th position as Harnish drops to 9th, and now the Foyt machine is in, and that does not look too promising right now for AJ the 4th. They're checking over that Toyota power plant.
You can see a lot of heavy traffic out there.
There's Mark Taylor going around Buell.
Yeah.
Buell now a lap off the pace. Carpenter is 2 laps off the pace, and Foyt continues to drop down. He's 4 laps off the pace now as he resides in the pit area. There's a look at Scott Sharp. Sharp now up behind Herta. Sharp in the 12th position. Herta's 11th. There's some good racing all around this racetrack, actually.
Yeah, there are a lot of good races back in the pack a little farther. The front 2 or 3 guys have kind of drawn out, but the rest of the guys back in the pack still racing each other pretty hard.
Well, of course, the pit window opens up lap 45 to 50, and you've got some guys, Larry, at the back of the pack that may be very, very eager to make that pit stop. Castronevic back in 15th position. Schechter is 17th. Alex Barron is 19th.
Wow, yeah. And you can see from that shot, Schechter very quick through that corner. He made up a lot of ground through that corner, but once he gets up behind him, the arrow just doesn't, you know, he can't run close enough through the corner to get around him going down the straightaway.
Look at that head bobbing and weaving. That's a look back at Scott Sharp. Sharp now in the 12th position, driving for Team Kelly, who won this race a year ago. This is his 85th start in the Indy Racing League, the league's 90th start, and the ones he missed, he was out with his bell rung, had a concussion when he was racing for AJ Foyt, and missed some races because of the concussion. Our live coverage continues from Motegi. Gary Lee, Larry Rice, and nothing has changed up in front. That Klein Tools car of Danny Weldon has led all 31 laps.
Yeah, and Tony Kanaan has maintained about a 1 second distance behind him for most of the race, and still rides back there about 1 second back.
Well, there's a look now at the field summary. Weldon, Kanaan, Rice, Ray, Matsura, Franchitti, Dixon, Mira up in the 8th position. Then Harnish, Manning, Herta, Sharp, Taylor, Fernandez, Castronevic rounding out the top 15. And man, you've got some drivers sprinkled throughout this field that we would expect to see up in front on any given race day.
Yeah, I have to tell you, this is about as poorly as I've seen Team Penske run as a team for quite some time. 10th and 15th early in the going is not very usual for that team. They're usually right up front.
We're watching Mark Taylor. Mark was last year's Menards Infinity Pro champion. Oh boy, Dixon just got blown off there by his teammate Manning. Darren Manning just went by his team driver.
Well, he sure did. He looked like Dixon just got out of the throttle and let him go because he just blew by him.
Right now, the Hondas have the top 7 positions. Then it's Toyota in 8th, 9th, and 10th. Honda is 11th. So right now, the Honda executives have to be very, very pleased.
Well, they've worked towards winning this race all year long. It looks like their efforts are paying off right now as they're really dominating this race.
Well, I think it's a staggering statistic, Larry, to say that Honda has never won here.
Yeah, it really is after all the years they've done. There's Eddie Carpenter already in the pits. He's already 3 laps down. Car not handling at all, so he decided to just come in early. change something and try to make this race car go faster.
Well, that's the Red Bull Team Cheever entry, and we had talked a couple of races back, Larry, as to whether Mr. Cheever might return to the cockpit, but it would appear now for the month of May that he's going to stay on the sideline.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to get back in the car, and I think that's a wise decision on his part. Once you quit, once you don't run for a couple of years, it's very difficult, as Arie Luyendyk found out, to come back and be competitive once you're out of that cockpit.
And look at this, Darren Manning on the inside. Wow, Manning on the inside of Franchitti, and he forced the issue. Franchitti had to backpedal. He loses 2 positions, but 3 positions.
He's still trying to catch his breath after Manning kind of forced him up the racetrack.
Manning just drove under, let the car drift a bit up the racetrack, and just kind of pushed Franchitti out of the way.
Yeah, Franchitti, he was so surprised, and I think it's probably got his attention a little bit as he got up there. The race car got a little loose, and he had to get way out of the
That was a case where Franchitti, being a little older, may have been driving with his brains, and Darren was driving with his fortitude.
Well, it certainly took a little bit of that to poke it down in there like he did, let me tell you.
Well, Franchitti then lost a position to Dixon and Hornish, so Franchitti dropped from 7th to 10th on that move.
Yeah,
showing him on that Super there was 7th, but on the scoring monitor he's back in the 10th position.
Yeah, he lost 3 spots very quickly right there, and it was all because he got out of the throttle. And once you get out of the throttle, it takes a little while to get your momentum back up. And you saw a couple of cars, Hornish and Dixon, just blow by him going down the back straightaway.
Well, he had no choice.
No,
it was either get out of the throttle or crash.
Yeah, exactly. And he chose the wise move of those 2. Let me tell you.
Now you see 40 laps of 200, and once again, as you take a look at your leader, we're looking for pit stops, I would say, around lap 50, Larry.
Yeah, I would think so. I would think pretty around lap 50. They might come in 45. It just depends on how poorly they're handling.
Well, there's your leader. Right in front of the leader is Tori Takagi, and Takagi's about to go a lap down. He's now in 18th position as Weldon looks to the inside and scoots on by the Takagi car for Takagi Racing.
Yeah, Takagi, the spotter told him he was there. He let him go by and pulled right down under him going into the corner. So that was a nice job by both those drivers to let him get by.
Sharp is still chasing Herta. Sharp in that yellow and red car. Sharp back there in the 12th position now.
Yeah, he's running pretty good. He practiced very well all week, but qualified very poorly for some reason. Castroneves back there in the back of that pack, he's still having problems.
I tell you what, look at this. Your leader is going to start lapping just a handful of guys right here.
Oh man, and I hope those guys all see him. And right there, you can see AJ Foyt came down on him. He had to get on the brakes very hard to keep from hitting AJ Foyt as he did not get
Asakawa got out of the way, but look at this gaggle of cars off the corner down that back stretch.
Oh man, Foyt luckily just got out of the throttle and let everybody go by and get out of the way. Buddy Rice, Kanan in that group, very battling each other. Now then Buddy Rice gets by, so all 3 of the leaders right together now after all that lap traffic.
And only 1.3 seconds separating the first 3. Ray has dropped off to 9.5 seconds behind the lead, so the handling may be going away on that number 13. They'll be making a pit stop here in probably 5 or 6 laps to maybe make some chassis adjustment.
Yeah, that's Yasukawa and Takagi. They're battling each other. Yasukawa in the green car.
Takagi in that kind of maroon, wine color and white car right there. And they're at the back of the pack, a lap off the pace.
Yeah, they've already lost lap. Robbie Buell heading into the pit area. No, that's not Robbie Buell.
Well, so now we're seeing the first of our pit stops on lap 46. Number 17 in the pit lane now. Vito Mira. That's the Bobby Rahal bunch. There is Scheckter in. Now Scheckter was having his problems toward the back of the pack. He'll go a lap off the pace with this pit stop, but again, he's hopeful now that everybody has to make a green flag pit stop, because then once he makes his, if there's a yellow on the racetrack, he's going to stay a lap down.
There goes Buddy Rice. He's out already. So everybody making pit stops a little bit early this first time, just to make sure that you know, they've got their fuel right and everything, because everybody came in about lap 45.
There's Kanan. Waiting for Weldon to come in now. Kanan comes to the attention of the Andretti Green team. So second place is in the pits.
Buddy Rice already back out on the racetrack, so it's going to be this. I thought he killed the engine.
Look at that. Manning and Dixon, teammates, are now, well, here comes your leader.
Let's see what happens. Let's see if he can get in and out. Remember, he's rather new. It's only his second year on the circuit. Done a terrific job here in the last couple of races, though. In and out, very nice.
Pit stop for Weldon. And he should, once they cycle through these pit stops, he should maintain the lead. There's Dixon. He is in now.
So just about all of the leaders now have made their pit stops. Only a couple of guys still on the racetrack.
Well, Manning would become the second leader of the afternoon. Kanan still up the full song out there.
Scott Sharp now the leader because he has not made his pit stop. So he'll be coming in here in the next 2 or 3 laps, but he will get credit for leading at least 1 lap as he stayed on the racetrack.
And again, he stays out there, assumes the lead. If there's a yellow, it's a great advantage for him.
Yes, it is.
And watch the right hand come off the steering wheel.
Yeah, he shifts gears. Most of these guys are shifting gears.
Let's look at Greg Ray. With the shifting gears, might be a good time to mention that there is a lot of talk about going road racing next year, and the year after that, maybe 3 or 4 road circuits for the Indy Racing League.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened.
Well,
but
Sharp is headed for the pit area now, and that will give the lead back to Weldon.
Well, let's see what happened here. Greg Ray back in the pits. Oh, there was some contact. He made a little contact. That was Mira on the inside. Greg Ray went very high out in the marbles, decided he needed to come in, and that's a tough break for him, because of course that's his second pit stop under the green, and it's going to put him way deep in the pack. He'll get lapped at least once or twice during that second pit stop.
Well, through this cycle of pit stops, Laurie, Weldon back out in front. There is Scott Sharp, still has his visor up on his helmet. A little bit back down as he gets back out on the racetrack.
Yeah, you can see once he crossed that line, he got back on the throttle, started going again. Now here goes Dixon's. He goes around Mira. So Dixon obviously, and that may be because Mira's got some sort of problems. If he and Greg Ray touch, yeah, he's heading for the pit area. So obviously that when they touch wheels, both of them have some sort of a problem, and now Mira's got to go in and address whatever his problem is.
So the close racing will cost both these guys an opportunity for a top 5 finish here this afternoon. So Weldon continues to lead after that first round of pit stops over his teammate Kanan, then Buddy Rice, Scott Sharp, and Darren Manning.
Their lives have just changed beyond their wildest dreams.
Not my car!
Or have they?
For the next week, we're going to ask that you convince your friends, family and work colleagues that you have won the lottery, when in actual fact, you've not won a penny.
3 volunteers are put to the test for the ultimate hoax.
I've been under so much pressure.
Whatever is yours is mine.
That was really hard.
The all-new series £1 Million Hoax starts 25th of April, Sky One Sunday.
Morning, George. Morning. Family all right? Growing up fast. How's that new car then? Couldn't be better. We had 5 in here last week. We had 7, and I'm still finding crumbs.
Oh, hang on a minute.
Someone hasn't been to the toilet. Typical.
Mariva and Zafira, clever family cars from Vauxhall.
Are you a homeowner who could benefit from an Ocean Finance loan? Perhaps by reducing your monthly outgoings by consolidating existing debts, home improving, or simply treating yourself to whatever you have in mind. Many already have.
I chose Ocean Finance because I'd used them before in the past and I found them extremely helpful.
The whole process was simple, it was quick.
Excellent. I couldn't fault them one bit.
Part of the money we used for a consolidation loan and the rest was for a holiday.
you know, the money was a big help from Ocean Finance to us.
If I know of a friend or family stuck the way I was, I would absolutely refer them to Ocean Finance.
I was impressed with them, and I will use them again in the future if I need to do.
Ocean consider all circumstances and rates are competitive. So for that homeowner loan of up to £100,000, call us now on 0800 858 858 or apply online at oceanfinance.co.uk.
And right now, there's car number 7, Herta, about to go a lap down. Danny Weldon has just gone around Brian Herta, put him a lap down. So Weldon now has half the field a lap down. He's Herta back in 12th position. Franchitti is 11th, and Franchitti would be the next one. You see Franchitti out there in front of your leader.
He's just having a terrific race.
Now we have reports that Dixon brushed the wall. Dixon back in 7th position. He just recently had a Formula One test with Williams. There's a lot of talk that he may go to F1 next season.
Yeah, he drives the wheels off of these things, and if he touches the wall very hard, it's going to be not a good thing for him, because these cars do not take
they're very delicate.
Yeah, they're very delicate. The suspension gets bent very easily, although he looks like he's running just as quick as he has been all along. So he's right behind Sam Hornish, doesn't seem to be losing any ground. So
right now he's in the sandwich between the two Penske teammates. Hornish is 6th, Dixon 7th, and Castroneves 8th. Right along with Dixon now on lap 60 of the 200 scheduled laps here this afternoon.
Yeah, and of course, we already talked about Ray and Mira getting together, and once those two got together, they're both been back and forth in the pits a couple of times. They're several laps down.
Ray's 4 laps off the pace. Mira's 2 laps off the pace. Ray has been out and in a number of times, checking out that suspension. Scott Dixon now has finished 9th on 2 occasions here, and right now Dixon back in the 7th position, driving with that hairline fracture in the left ankle. We saw him hobbling about earlier this afternoon, and Greg Ray back in again, and you're not sure how many times they might stop before he calls it a day and climbs out.
Yeah, there's something definitely wrong with the right front corner. They haven't figured out exactly what it is yet. It doesn't appear to be anything bent or broken, but the front end is probably just so far out of line that it's making that thing, it's just scaring him to death. That's what it's doing.
Well, he's calling in and saying, I'm coming back in, check it, it's not handling.
Yep, this thing's wiggling all over the racetrack, and I'm going to crash it, tear it up, and since I'm one of the owners, I don't want to have to pay the bills to fix it. So.
Yeah, we're going to Indianapolis, and I want this race car in one piece.
That's right, we only have one race car.
Look at this, Larry, here's Dixon, right behind Hornish. There's Franchitti. And there's Scott Sharp, and there's the leader going by both of them.
Wow, Weldon
so now the top 9 drivers are on the lead lap, as your leader just went by Sharp and Franchitti. There's Sharp currently in 10th. Franchitti is 9th.
And Dan Weldon is just smoking everybody. I mean, he's running a mile an hour faster than anybody on the racetrack. He's running 201 miles an hour. Kanaan and Rice are both running over 200, and those are the only 3 cars on the racetrack running over 200 miles an hour.
You know, Michael Andretti could never win Indianapolis as a driver, but I tell you what, he could win it this year as a team owner, because Kanaan was totally dominant at Phoenix the last race 3 weeks ago, and right now his teammate Weldon has been totally dominant here this afternoon.
Certainly has been, and Kanaan, he's not doing too bad.
He's 2.5 seconds back.
I was going to say, he's been running in 2nd place all day long, but Weldon's just been so good, he hasn't been able to catch him or go around.
Realistically, if you're the team owner, you're going to say, just let him run out there. Put a little space between you 2 guys. Let's not tear up 2 cars trying to compete here. It's still a long race.
Realistically, Tony Kanaan wants to win this race too, and he's going to try, but you're right, he's not going to go up there and challenge.
We're in lap 66 right now. There's no sense to go up there and do something stupid at this point, because there's a lot of laps to go.
Absolutely right.
Let Weldon pick up the 3 bonus points for leading the most laps. Weldon right now in the point standings, only 7 points behind Tony Kanaan. So right now, only 25 points separate the top 7 in the points after 2 races.
Dixon got a good run off that corner. Let's see if he can make the pass this time as he gets down under Hornish going into turn 1. Hornish doesn't give up that easy, though, as he stays on the outside. But at this particular racetrack.
Oh, look at Hornish.
Man, oh man.
On the high side.
And Dixon just absolutely could not finish it off.
There may not be another driver on this racetrack that would have done that.
I would have to agree with you. I don't think there's very many guys who would have run around.
At this juncture in the race.
There he goes again, down on the inside, going into turn 1.
Watch what Hornish does this time.
Dixon gets through 3 and 4. Hornish got way wide that time.
He washed out that time.
He's going to lose 1 spot, maybe 2.
Castro Nevitz, his teammate's going to go by him. So Dixon moves up to the 6th position. Castro Nevitz to 7th, and Hornish drops to 8th. But at this point in the race, very few drivers would just stay on the pedal on the high side on this racetrack.
Well, and he did it. He pulled it off once, but the second time he just couldn't make it work.
May on Sky Sports. The battle to become champions of Europe comes to a climax.
UEFA Champions League semi-final and final. Domestic bliss.
The finals of the FA Cup and the Tennant Scottish Cup. International football. The Republic of Ireland face Romania.
All the drama from the Football League playoffs.
The Premiership.
Oh, it's blasted!
The agony and the ecstasy of the Premier League countdown. Football in May on Sky Sports.
Morning, George. Morning. Family all right? Growing up fast. How's that new car then? Couldn't be better. We had 5 in here last week. We had 7, and I'm still finding crumbs.
Oh, hang on a minute.
Someone hasn't been to the toilet. Typical.
Mariva and Zafira. Clever family cars from Vauxhall.
Foam burst from Imperial Leather. Release the lava.
Matt never saw her coming.
She's so hot.
Perhaps you should have a seat. But all his friends had.
That's not her. Yeah, it is.
You saw me.
Like, I'm gonna strip right here. Sorry.
I'm all wet. Can I come in?
Dude. I know.
The girl next door.
Hello, Drakeline Home Insurance.
Hi, can I get a quote, please?
Morning, sir. Gentlemen.
Intelligence confirms that as much as 40% could be saved with Direct Line Home Insurance.
One phone call is all it will take, sir.
You make it seem so easy.
Why, of course.
Call Direct Line Home Insurance on 0845 246 1246.
Okay, I'll arrange that for you now.
And you could save up to 40%.
Live coverage continues from Twin Ring Motegi, the Indy Japan 300. And right now we can tell you only 9 drivers are on the lead lap. So Weldon continues his run up in front. His teammate now, Tony Kanaan, is 3.5 seconds back in 2nd position. But then Buddy Rice is in 3rd, and he's 8.5 seconds back. So in the last 2 laps, Buddy Rice has lost over 1.5 seconds on your leader.
Yeah, that's just an indication of how quickly they're running. Buddy Rice having a great run, by the way. I mean, that Team Rahal car, he's had it up near the front of the pack almost all day long. As Thomas Scheckter right there behind him in the yellow car, a lap down. Yeah, a lap down. So keeping up with him right now, but he got a lap down during all that pit stop shuffle and by running near the back of the pack during those pit stops.
We've only had 2 leaders. Danny Weldon led the first 47 circuits, then he made his pit stop. Scott Sharp led for a couple laps. Then after the round of pit stops, Weldon was back on top. There's young A.J. Foyt back in the pit area, the youngest driver in the field at the age of 19.
Yeah, he's back on the racetrack. Obviously, he too is encountering some sort of major difficulties. He's been very, very slow after about the first 20 laps of the race. Look at this, boy. Weldon just absolutely blowing everybody away.
That was Barron. Barron's back in the 17th position, now a couple laps behind.
Boy, he's just has everything going his way. Tony Kanaan not that far behind, but still hasn't been able to get up close enough. He hasn't been able to get within a second since the start of the race, quite honestly.
Right now he's just 2 seconds behind his leader, but they're in heavy traffic right now. So we'll see if he can maintain that distance. There's Scott Sharp out in front of him. Scott Sharp now back in the 11th position, a lap off the pace. There is Schechter. Schechter now is in the 14th position. There's Tony Kanaan.
Tony Kanaan having a very good run. Just can't quite match his teammates' run here so far today.
Pulls up to put another lap on the number 8 car. As you look back at Kanaan there, he just lost the momentum coming into the corner. Couldn't quite get his nose under Scott Sharp.
Yeah, he just decided he wasn't up far enough. He wasn't going to take the chance. A lot of laps left to go, so he decided to wait for another chance next couple of laps.
There's a look at Darren Manning. Manning now in the 4th position. Manning driving as a teammate to the defending champion Scott Dixon. He is some 14 seconds behind. We have our first yellow of the afternoon on lap 79, and that is for debris.
That's pretty amazing considering all the problems we had here last year. So looks, you know, it's very unusual to have that many crashes in practice, that many crashes last year, then go for the first 78 laps of this race, almost halfway, without a yellow flag.
I told you that Brian Barnhart was like the old schoolmaster with the ruler, and he was slapping all of them across the knuckles because he was very unhappy with the way they drove last year. Plus, you have to realize that, you know, they've got a long flight back home. They've got to load all the equipment up, and then although it seems like a long time till Indianapolis opens next month, there's not that much time to get these cars ready.
Right. Mark Taylor's very lucky. He was getting very close to being lapped, and that yellow flag gives him a chance to catch up to the back of the pack. And we'll probably see, it's been about 32 or 33 laps since the last pit stop. We'll probably see everybody dive into the pits as soon as the pits are open.
Well, the pits are still closed, and they form up single file behind the pace vehicle driven by 3-time Indianapolis 500 champion Johnny Rutherford, and one of the safety crew trucks out there to find the debris. And once they open the pits, we should see everybody in.
Yeah, and this will make it at least a 4-lap or a 4-pit stop race. By having to stop now, they will have to make at least 2 more pit stops before the end of the race, I think.
The safety crew truck still out there looking for the debris, and we're waiting for the pits are now open, Larry, so all the drivers will be headed down pit. Well, they're staying out again.
Well, maybe we're wrong. I figured they would every one of them would head for the pit area as soon as it was open, but maybe they're going to play off of what Dan.
They're getting ready. They're getting ready.
Yeah, I figured they'd all have to come in. They can't take a chance because they only run another 15 laps, and they have to make another pit stop anyway.
Good crowd on hand here this afternoon. More than 60,000 folks. There were some 68,000 last year, as I recall. I tell you, the fans love this kind of racing over here.
Oh yeah, there's a huge crowd here, 60, 70,000 people, and they've been very enthusiastic. The drivers have actually had a terrific time over here. They love the interaction with the people over here.
Well, the whole weekend got kicked off with a bowling tournament. The drivers were assigned with local race fans, and it was the Greg Ray team that actually won the bowling tournament, which surprises me a bit because probably the best bowler in this starting field would be Sam Hornish.
Looked like they got through that pit stop very well, and Dan Weldon is going to once again. It looks like Kanaan had some troubles. He
lost a bunch of positions.
He lost several positions. I'm not sure what kind of problem he had there, but he didn't get out very quickly at all. And he may have lost a spot or two.
Everyone has a chance to pit under yellow. They'll line them back up single file before they turn them loose because the track has been cleared of the debris.
Well, while we're under yellow, we get a chance to come back here in the studio, of course. Dan Weldon certainly doing the business there, but I think we've managed to paint the green out of Ben Collins' face here at the moment. Ben, perhaps we can talk about you joining the series later in the year. We've got obviously some good Brits out there at the moment. Dan Weldon's doing us brilliantly. What about your future?
Yeah, I had a great year last year. Won the Days of Thunder series with a record number of wins and points, which is really enjoyable. And since then, it was a company called Go Britain, which is arranging sponsorship to race in RL, approached me to race with PDM in the IndyCar series, and ironically, I had thought I'd be racing in the race we're watching, but hopefully the plan is to get me out for the last 4 races of the season with a good team, and just really waiting for the sponsorship to be confirmed and to get out there. Just can't wait to get in the seat.
In response of 1 or 2 words, how does it feel to be sitting here watching it?
Yeah, I mean, it's great to see people doing well, but I'd rather it was me. But no, it's a good race to watch. Just like I say, just looking forward to that opportunity to get in the seat and show what I can do.
Well, I can tell you now, let's get back to the track because the restart is about to get underway.
Well, we should go back to racing this time by. And we'll watch for the youngster from England to pick up the throttle off the corner. Here they are. The green flag flies. We're racing once again as they complete lap 85 of 200. Yet to get to the halfway point. And right away, Kanaan picks off one car. There were like 3 or 4 lap cars between first and second.
Yeah, there's 3 drivers from England in this race, and all
There's
3
Mark
are in
Taylor.
the top 5.
Mark Taylor right there with Fernandez. Now, Fernandez is a lap off the pace.
Yeah,
Mark Taylor is on the lead lap with that Chevy-powered entry back in the 5th spot. Hornish is 6th.
See a lot of battling going on. That's Buddy Rice.
Manning is right there. Dixon is right there.
You can.
Dixon back in the 7th position. Hornish now is 6th, and Taylor is in 5th.
Mira really, all of a sudden, looks like he's kind of got some his oats. He's in that 17 car. He's gone around a couple of guys. It looks like.
Unfortunately, though, he's like.
Yeah, he's several laps
like
down.
2 laps off the pace.
Because he had that problem. Oh!
And he's got another problem right there. Whoa! That was the. Uh-oh. It's Hornish. Hornish in the wall. This is the second race this season where he's crashed.
Man, oh man.
So the yellow out again on lap 88.
It looked like Hornish was having a little problem right before that crash. Not sure exactly what happened, but didn't seem like he was going forward very well. And all of a sudden, he ends up into the fence.
Well, they just went back to green after that debris yellow. The green came out on lap 86, ran a couple laps, and the yellow's back out again.
Again,
we were riding along with Vito Mira.
Oh, yeah.
Right there. There was contact.
And that's exactly why Hornish got in the fence, because Mira drove him in
moved
there.
over and made contact with Hornish.
Yeah.
We were riding with Mira. We didn't see it.
Yeah. We were watching the monitors, and Mira got in there, got hard on the brakes, almost ran into somebody, moved to the right. Sam Hornish just a victim of circumstances. He had absolutely no place to go. As Mira just turns to the right, goes right up and nails
Well, Mira
him.
had no place to go either. He was either turning right or going to the back of the car in front of him.
Yeah, he.
And that may have done some damage to the right rear of Mira's car.
I don't see how it could not have done damage to it. He hit pretty hard. He got clear up in the air when he hit Sam Hornish. So I think it's had to have done some sort of damage to the right rear of his car.
You saw Sam climb out on his own. He's okay. The safety crew is there. So our second yellow of the afternoon, our first crash. They had just made a pit stop, so I can't imagine Larry, except for the guys, 2 laps off the pace.
He's got a
or
flat
lap
tire.
off.
He's got a flat right rear tire, so he's going to have to go into the pit area. He hit so
That's 55.
hard.
That's Matsura. That's Matsura. That's not the Mira car.
Oh, that's right. You know what? That may be the reason he was slowing down, and
He had
Mira
the
had
flat
to miss
right.
him.
He had the flat right rear. He was slowing down. Mira had no place to go but hit him or veer to the right, and that's what took Hornish out.
Or Mira might have clipped him with his wing and given him the flat tire, because I believe it was Matsura was right in front of Mira. We're getting that.
The race is on.
You ready for this?
And the boy is back.
You want to race tonight?
This is real simple. You make the run, you get Barone and his cash together so I can move in for the bus.
They can handle the road. Oh! The question is, can they pass the test?
Guns, murderers, and crooked cops. I was made for this.
And this April, dual Sky Movie subscribers can order this film for just $2.95.
Hello, Dragline Home Insurance.
Hi, can I get a quote, please?
Morning, sir. Gentlemen.
Intelligence confirms that as much as 40% could be saved with Direct Line Home Insurance.
One phone call is all it will take, sir.
You make it seem so easy.
Why, of course.
Call Direct Line Home Insurance on 0845 246 1246.
Okay, I'll arrange that for you now.
And you could save up to 40%.
Are you a homeowner who could benefit from an Ocean Finance loan? Perhaps by reducing your monthly outgoings by consolidating existing debts, home improving, or simply treating yourself to whatever you have in mind. Many already have.
I borrowed £16,000 from Ocean Finance, and I used this money to consolidate credit cards, bank loans into one small monthly payment.
The form they sent me was so easy to fill in that I'd done it within 20 minutes.
They did exactly what they said they were going to do.
And they were quick with it. They didn't mess around. They didn't mess us around at all.
If anybody was in my shoes or the worst scenario you could think of, Ocean Finance should be the first person you go to.
Ocean consider all circumstances and rates are competitive. So for that homeowner loan of up to £100,000, call us now on 0800 858 858 or apply online at oceanfinance.co.uk.
Welcome back. You join us in the studio. Well, 78 laps it took before we had our first yellow, and then some 10 laps later. It's all happening. Ben Collins, I've got to say that was a bit unfortunate there for Sam Hornish. Got caught up with Vida Mira, who apparently didn't have any room either. We can take a look at that action right now, and perhaps you and Paul can talk us through it. Ben, you could see Vida Mira there avoiding the white car down on the white line. He took the inside of Sam Hornish. In fact, that's the second incident Vida Mira has been involved in, because Greg Ray was earlier on a victim. What's all this about, Ben?
Yeah, it looks like he's just come up on the car in front too fast. Looks like Casha Neves. And rather than use the brake pedal, just turned right, which is pretty unfortunate for Hornish. Left him nowhere to go but into the wall. So it's pretty poor driving by Mira.
Well, that gives us an opportunity very quickly, Paul Cherry, to talk about the state of Penske, because they're in a mess, aren't they, at the moment? Casha Neves was the guy that looked like he was a bit slow down on the line, and his teammate stuck in the wall.
Yeah, very unusual for Sam that we've seen him involved in so many incidents. I mean, he had a bad first day practice, and now here in the race he's meddling around with guys in the middle. We've seen a couple of good manoeuvres from him, but here he is on the way home.
So why are Penske struggling here? Any guesses?
No, not really. They are a first-class operation. We've seen that time and time again. We've seen Gilles de Ferran go a lap down through a race and come back and win it, and they have that ability, but I think at this particular track they just haven't got it.
Well, Andretti Green certainly have Ben at the moment. Dan Weldon's still out front.
Sure, yeah, and all four of them are running very competitively, but Dan's certainly got the race under control, so it doesn't look like there's anyone really with the pace to catch or challenge him yet.
If there are, where are they coming from, Paul?
Only his teammates, as I see it. Dixon's a little too far back. Manning's making good progress. I actually think on the accident we just saw that it was actually Dixon who Mira came up behind.
Okay, well, we can cross back to the track now because, we'll find out from our commentators exactly what's going on.
There is the gap as we provide live coverage. Twin Ring Motegi, the second time that we have been here with the Indy Racing League. And, of course, the next stop, for about 40 years, the tune-up for Indianapolis was Phoenix. And we were there 3 weeks ago in the Desert Mile. So the warm-up this time, as it was last year, is Motegi. Field summary again showing Weldon and Kanaan, the two teammates running 1 and 2. Then the teammates with Target Ganassi, Manning and Dixon running 3rd and 4th. Rice is 5th, Taylor is 6th, Castroneves and Matsura. Those are the top 8 drivers. Those 8 drivers are on the lead lap.
Yeah, Dixon is actually catching Darren Manning. So if Manning can't get around those 2-lap cars, he's going to have company pretty shortly because...
and Dixon will show him how it's done.
Yeah, Dixon is coming up on him pretty quickly. Of course, those 2 guys teammates, so...
And right now I wonder if, unless Weldon makes a mistake or a bobble, if Kanaan will attempt at this stage in the race to go by.
Well, I don't think he's going to go up there and take any chances. As you said earlier, still a lot of laps to go. What he's going to try to do is catch him in traffic or catch him on a pit stop. He's not going to try to pass him on the open racetrack. Very difficult to do as we ride along with Darren Manning.
Now you saw he gained some ground off the corner, but somewhere on this racetrack he loses ground to Franchitti.
Well, it looks like he gets into the corner, through the middle of this corner, doesn't gain anything, kind of maintains going through turns 1 and 2. Appears to me that going down into it loses a little ground there.
On the straightaway.
Going into 3 and 4, he closes in a little bit. He really gains a lot going into turns 3 and 4. but then he loses a little ground going down the front straightaway too. Now through 1 and 2 again, kind of maintains.
That Honda's just pulling down the straightaway.
Yeah, it looks
the
like
Honda
it
is pulling the Toyota down the straightaway.
Especially down the back straightaway. Down this back straightaway, that's the place where he gets away. And then going into 3 is where he really gains. This is the closest he gets anywhere on the racetrack. Right through the middle of turns 3 and 4.
There's the gap. There's second place right there, Kanaan. And that green and white, the big Gulf car, the 7-Eleven car.
And Dan Weldon just very slowly and surely pulls away. He gets about a 1/10 of a second every 5 laps, it looks like.
Well, Dixon is closing in his teammate, and that'll be a battle for 3rd position. That will be about almost 4 seconds behind the leaders.
And there is Scott Dixon, very methodical, just out there running his race, and will take it as it comes. And there he got around him. Manning finally got around Franchitti going into turn 1 as he got through. We talked about how he's getting through 3 and 4 much better than Franchitti was. That time he got off of turn 4 and was able to get under him and went on by him going into turn 1.
Yeah, and you have to wonder, Franchitti suffered the broken back last year in the motorcycle crashes, you're right, with Mark Taylor, and had surgery last year. You have to wonder how his back feels in a long race. He's not really going to complain, I know. And if we ask him, he probably wouldn't give us a totally honest answer, but he might be hurting a bit.
Well, it could be, but he's certainly proven to me in these first 2 races that he came back to race. I wasn't really sure how badly he wanted to race when he came back, but he certainly ran hard the first 2 races, and he's running hard here today. But the first 2, he was very, very competitive and right up front in both those first 2 races.
Taylor now back in the 6th position, the best ride for a Chevy-powered car. Takagi in car number 12, he's back there in 12th position, a lap off the pace. He is just not, in fact, a lot of experts picked him to win a race this season, but he has not been all that competitive so far in the first 3 races.
Well, the first race he was much better than he has been in the last 2. The first race he was fairly competitive. The last 2 he's really just been kind of one of the guys. He hasn't been up front really challenging for any of the top 3 spots in the last couple of races.
Well, you're looking back from Scott Sharp back to Takagi. Sharp right now is 11th, Takagi is 12th, so this is a battle for position on lap 121. We will see one more round, at least one more round of pit stops.
Yeah, they'll have to make at least one more stop.
And that next stop could be coming in the next 5 to 10 laps.
Yeah, they're going to have to make 2 more pit stops. They're going to have to stop once here pretty shortly, and then they'll have to stop again before the end of the race. They can only run about 45, 50 laps, and they're going to have to make that next pit stop before the 150 lap mark.
Here is a most unique camera angle from inside the helmet of Scott Sharp. There's Adrian Fernandez, and Fernandez right now, after winning twice here in the kart series, is back in 13th position.
Yeah, he got a lap down early, unfortunately, and once you get a lap down here, remember we ran the first 78 laps with no yellow flags, and he went a lap down, and boy, once you get a lap down, it's tough to make that lap back up.
2 drivers being shown as out of the race, Eddie Carpenter and Robbie Buell. We also have Greg Ray, some 67 laps. They took the car back hoping to repair the suspension system, but
yeah, and you can see that Thomas Schechter now catching Fernandez for trying to actually running
this is for position.
Yeah,
this is for position. This is the battle for 13th right now.
Both of those cars got a lap down very early. Right now, they're not running that much slower than the leaders, but they just got down very early in the race. Schechter actually, that last time out, had one of the fastest laps on the racetrack.
Well, still a lot of laps to go, but it'd be very difficult to get back on the lead lap. About the only way, if these guys stopped early, or if these guys stayed on the racetrack, the leaders stopped early and the yellow came out, they might get that lap back.
Yeah, it's about the only thing they can hope for is to get off sequence with the leaders. But
now Kanaan has lost some ground. He's almost 2 seconds behind, which
we're getting close to the pit stop time. It looks like Kanaan's car, Weldon's car is fast all day long. Kanaan's car is fast for the first 30 laps of a segment, and then the last 10 or 15 laps of every segment, he seems to fall off a little bit. his car gets a little bit loose, he has to get out of the throttle, and Weldon just keeps on
It's
trucking.
interesting, Larry. A lot of these guys will set the cars up that once they burn the fuel off and the car gets lighter, the handling comes in. You're talking about how as you burn off the fuel, the handling tends to go away, or something happens to Kanan's car and he's losing some ground to his teammate.
Yeah, I think his handling does definitely go away. Weldon seems to be very, very steady, though, as he just ran 197-mile-an-hour laps that last time by.
And look at Franchitti. Franchitti had a look back around Darren Manning.
Yeah.
Manning's there in third position.
Yeah, and Franchitti tried to get him. That's Herta right in front of him, right in front of Manning. But he just, of course, Herta a lap down. But you're right, Franchitti very racy, trying to get back around. He says, hey.
Here's Dixon with the blue helmet. Now you're riding with Dixon back in fourth position. And he has one lap car. That's Franchitti that is between his position and his teammates. So before we can have a battle for third position, Dixon's got to get around Franchitti.
Yeah, we've talked about Dixon catching Manning, and as long as he's got lap traffic in there, it's going to be difficult for him. But he has been slowly but surely catching up with Darren Manning.
Working on lap 129. Your lead is now 2.8 seconds between Weldon and Kanan. And there's a look again at Fernandez. Adrian, though, is laboring back in 13th position, a lap off the pace, and right behind him in a battle for position is Scheckter. Scheckter back there in the 14th position in that team that has won 2 Indy Racing League titles with Sam Hornish in the cockpit as Dan Weldon continues to lead Tony Kanaan. Darren Manning is third, Scott Dixon fourth, and Buddy Rice rounding out the top 5 on 129 of 200 laps.
Tomorrow with Premiership Plus in association with Bet365 on Sky Box Office at 1:30. It's Aston Villa, Newcastle United. Sky Sports subscribers can order this game for just £6. See channel 433 or call 08705 160 160.
Hello, Direct Line Car Insurance.
Hi, I've had a nasty prank in my car.
Our man saved a lot of money with us. Nearly 30%, in fact. So now let's show him what else we can do. We'll get that car fixed up and out of there sharpish.
Call Direct Line Car Insurance on 0845 246 9000.
Okay, what we'll do is...
And you could save up to 30%.
Winner of Top Gear Magazine's Best Coupe Award and What Car's Best Coupe of the Year 2004. The internationally award-winning Mazda RX-8.
I'm not getting in that.
I can't afford a new car.
Hiya.
Hi, Jen.
Why don't you try Direct Line?
They do my car cover.
They do loans too. That's how I got my new kitchen.
A Direct Line loan is an easy way to borrow up to £25,000 at really competitive rates based on your circumstances and loan amount. Just call 0800 068 38 38 or apply online. That's 0800 068 38 38 for a low-cost loan for almost anything. Or apply online.
Tomorrow, 2 clubs gunning for a return to the top flight. Mexon's Baggies flying high.
Jeff Horsfield.
Travel to McCarthy's Sunderland.
Julio Arca.
Sunderland v West Brom tomorrow at 3, Sky Sports 1.
Well, now they're starting to see some activity, Larry, in the pit area. Rice's team has set out some tires. Some other teams now preparing for their third pit stop, and as you indicated, here comes Rice.
Yeah, he's going to be the first of the leaders to make his pit stop. Obviously, he had fallen back, so he wanted to get in and get those new tires as quickly as he could. But it's been
Kanaan now has pulled off the pace to come in.
Buddy right, here comes Tony Kanaan back into the pit area to make his pit stop. So those are the first 2 of the leaders to head for the pit area.
Some interesting pit strategy here with Andretti Green. They bring second place in. That will put the Target Ganassi cars up to second and third, but they will have to make their third pit stop. So So Kanan is away, so we'll see if Weldon can make his pit stop and maintain the lead. Here's Weldon. He, as we said, has led all but 2 laps here this afternoon, as we're seeing the leaders now making their third scheduled pit stop here this afternoon. So our live coverage continues as we're looking at pit stops for our leaders. Weldon has yet to make his. Manning is out there. Here comes Franchitti. He was a lap off the pace. Dixon has stayed out. Taylor has stayed out. Castro-Neves. So the only leader to really make the pit stop
Kanan and Rice.
Kanan and Rice.
Those 2 are the only 2 on the lead lap that have come in so far. These other guys have got to come in the next 2 or 3 laps. Scott Sharp has already been in. You can see he's just getting back up to speed. We're right along with
3
him.
laps off the pace, back in 17th position. This is your leader, or we should say winner here a year ago. But how long are they going to be able to? Milk this car? A.J. Foyt Jr., the 4th actually, is apparently out of fuel and is coasting around on the inside of this racetrack. Let's hope that he can make it to a place to either pull off or get back to the pits so we don't have to go yellow.
Well, you can bet that Weldon and Manning and those guys are going to try to stay out there now until the yellow flag comes out. They're going to try to stretch that fuel until the yellow flag comes out. You can see that Taylor decided he couldn't make it, so he's gone ahead and pulled into the pit area, even though the green flag is still out.
Well, let's hope that Foyt can get that thing to a position where he can get off the pit lane, and we won't have to go to yellow.
Mark Taylor back out. Very nice pit stop. Looks like everybody else had to, looks like most of them at least are coming in. It looks like.
Oh, here comes Dixon. So once again, the Ganassi team staggering the pit stops of their 2 drivers. Manning stays out. Castro-Neves moves to 3rd. He's yet to stop. So they've gone 56 laps since their pit stop. So they're getting to the end of their pit window right now.
I don't see how they can stay out a lot longer. Castro-Neves, remember, Castro-Neves and Matsura came in very late, so they can stay out a little longer. They don't have to.
Here comes your leader. Here comes your leader, Weldon.
Yeah, he couldn't stretch it any further. He had to come in. He couldn't wait on the yellow flag. He stayed out there longer than anybody else. He ran 57 laps that time.
So Manning is going to get credit for being the 3rd leader of the afternoon. And he may only lead a lap or 2 because he's going to have to make his stop.
He made it 57 laps. He'll have to run, 61? Can he run 61 on the next without a fuel stop? Well, I don't know. They'd be.
Now it depends on if we have any yellows.
Yeah, it'd be stretching. If there's yellow, he's going to come in and pit, I guarantee you. There's Manning.
Here's Manning.
He missed his pit. He had to be rolled back a little bit, so that'll probably cost him a little bit here in this pit stop.
So that would give the lead to Castro-Neves.
And that's why Castro-Neves came in and made that late pit stop. He's hoping that sometime in the next 5 laps or so,
the yellow
comes out, and it'll give him a great opportunity to move up in the standings.
But, you know, how many times have you seen the captain, Roger Penske, pull some strategy like this that works? And, you know, you roll the dice. If there's a yellow, it could mean a victory for Castro-Neves.
Yeah, certainly could. We're riding along with Darren Manning as he gets back up to speed after that pit stop.
Well, he led for a lap. They're working with Mira, apparently has lost the fire in number 17. They're going to try to push him, and there he's away. Mira was at least 1 lap off the pace. In fact, he's 6 laps off the pace.
Yeah, he's been involved in 2 incidents out there.
Matsura in now. There's an adjustment to the front wing. Waiting for the cue, and he is underway.
They're all getting every bit of fuel they can. You know, some of these guys are probably going to try to stretch it. Matsura may try to stretch it. If he can run 59 laps this next group, he could actually make it to the end. I don't know. That'll be close.
Well, Schechter there with his stop, but again, he is a lap off the pace.
He's another one. If he makes it 59 or 58 laps.
Barron just pulls in for his stop. And here comes Castro-Neves, so that will give the lead back to Weldon on lap 142.
Whether you're at the table or on the strip, there's only one rule in Vegas.
He owes us $3.5 million.
Never write checks your body can't cash.
You stay out of this, Danny. He was my friend. He stopped being everybody's friend when he couldn't control his gambling.
James Caan stars in the all-new drama exclusive to Sky One.
You were always good at making things go away. Make this go away.
Don't miss the second episode of Las Vegas, Tuesday, 10 o'clock, Sky One.
Doing things like washing your car yourself might save a few pounds. But if you want an easier way to save, you could do it on phone bills by signing up to Tele2, free on 0800 027 8080. Switching to Tele2 is easy. There's no need to change your phone, BT line, or number. With Tele2, peak calls are only 2.5p per minute, and off-peak calls are less than 1p per minute. You get a high-quality service enjoyed by over 20 million people in 23 countries. It's so easy, anyone can do it. Call free now on 0800 027 8080. And you could too. Tele2, why pay more?
Everybody get into a big canoe. We'll row on down to phones for you.
Switch now to free and get 500 minutes to any network at any time and 200 texts every month. With half-price line rental, you can now talk more for less with free.
Phones for you, for less, and phones for you.
It's your thing. Do what you wanna do.
The Saab 9.3 Sports Saloon with React's all-wheel steering and dynamic sports chassis. Because life is not a spectator sport. The Saab 9.3 Sports Saloon from $16,995.
Well, Scott Dixon, who was our champion last year, rides back in the third position. His teammate Manning now is in fourth, so that's a change of position from before that pit stop. Before the pit stop, Manning was in front of Dixon, and Schechter may have a problem. Schechter got high in two, lost the momentum, and lost the position.
Yeah, and he's just, it takes you a whole lap to get back up to speed here. Once you get out of the groove, you got to get out of the throttle. It takes you a whole lap to build that momentum back up. He didn't really have a problem other than the fact that he just had to get the speed built back up.
That was Takagi that made the move, and he's going to tuck in behind him. As you look back at Takagi. Takagi is in the car 12 back in the 13th position. And that is actually a battle for position. Schechter now is 11th. Takagi is now 12th. Fernandez is 13th. Sharp is 14th. They're all a lap off the pace.
Those guys all running, those three cars running right together right there as you look back out of Schechter's car into that group of cars.
Well, Weldon's lead up in front now is 2.5 seconds over Kanaan. Dixon has a sizable lead over Castro-Neves, who has gotten around Manning. So Castro-Neves is now up to fourth. Manning drops to fifth. Rice is sixth. Then it's Taylor and Matsura. Now here you look at the field summary. And right now Matsura back in 8th position. Only 8 drivers on the lead lap. Herta is 9th, a lap off the pace. His teammate Franchitti is 10th. Then it's Schechter, Takagi, Fernandez, Sharp, and Yasukawa. This is Yasukawa's first race of the season. We'll see him in this car at Indianapolis next month. And there's a look at Dixon. Yeah. Dixon right now is about 6 seconds. Oh, Fernandez is off the pace.
Yeah, Fernandez is heading for the infield as he's...
but there's no place for him to pull off right now, Larry.
No, there isn't, but he might find a place to pull off. If he doesn't, then they're going to have to go yellow.
And that's not what Castro-Neves wants to see.
You're right. Castro-Neves does not want to see that. He is the guy that can win this race just because of pit strategy if it continues to go green. We'll see if Fernandez finds if there's a hole in that back straightaway that he can get off of the racetrack. Otherwise, they'll probably have to go yellow as he's
he still has power. He's not just coasting.
Very slow.
You're back on board with. Now this is the blue helmet. There'll be a quiz now. The blue helmet is Dixon.
And he's got a couple of lap cars in front of him, but he has to get around before he can get back up and challenge.
Takagi now back in 11th position.
Takagi actually is not running that bad on the racetrack. He's running some pretty fast laps. He just got that lap down early that cost him.
Oh, look at this. He made it back to the pits.
Yeah, whatever the problem is, you're right. The engine is still running. It just must not be running very well. They're going to pull the cover off, so obviously
shut it down. So, but he's back in the pits, no yellow, and that will still give Castro Nimitz an opportunity. Right now, the Hondas ride 1 and 2. The Toyotas are 3rd, 4th, and 5th. The Honda is 6th, and there is Schechter. And is he going to climb out? I think the day is over for the young man from Cape Town, South Africa.
Yeah, it looks like they got some
Maybe a gearbox problem.
Yeah, they're rocking it back and forth.
Trying to find a gear.
Yeah, trying to see if they can get it geared, see if they can get it going again.
Fernandez climbs out.
Yeah, it looks like he's done for the day. They'll
two-time winner here, but not today. His second race in the Indy Racing League.
Yeah, tough break
out. We could see Schechter climb out as well. Manning got high in turn 4.
Yeah, Manning, whatever they did the last time out, it really affected his handling. He's really struggled here recently, and he's been falling back pretty regularly.
Is that Matsuura right there in front of your leader? Matsuura about to go a lap down. Matsuura back in the 8th position in car 55.
Yep, sure is.
And he's going to stay out of the way, is he? Going to let him by on the inside? Yeah. So now we're down to 7 cars in the lead lap, and the 7th position right now belongs to Mark Taylor in number 2.
Yeah. So at 151 laps, so he's just totally dominated this thing so far here today. And he's still, right now, one of the fastest cars on the racetrack. Dixon has been catching very slowly, but he got so far behind right there in all that lap traffic that he's going to have trouble catching these 2 leaders. Look at Weldon. Weldon catches the lap traffic and he just absolutely blows him away. Just doesn't wait at all.
Well, there goes the Pennzoil car back behind the pit wall. So Schechter has climbed out. No, he hasn't.
No, he's going to ride in the car back to the pit. Well, it's a tough break for him. He had a pretty good run going until he got down that lap early in the race. And once you get down a lap here at this racetrack, it's awfully hard to ever make that lap back up. He never could do it, and neither has anybody else, quite honestly. Franchitti has had a good run here today. He's back in 10th. He's never been able to gain that lap back after Weldon got around him there early in the going.
Weldon is what we call a zone.
Yeah.
And right now, you talk about him blowing by guys and never backing out and setting them up. I mean, he's in a rhythm right now, and he's catching the guys right at the right spot. The car could go just about any place on the racetrack.
Yeah, no doubt about it. He's really just, I mean, he's just got that thing dialed in. And it doesn't matter whether it's the first of a session, the last, he's just as fast after 40 laps as he is after 1 lap.
Well, Fernandez, who has found victory lane twice here at this racetrack, out today. In fact, right now back in the 17th position. We may have a word with him momentarily.
Yeah, there's that's Roger Yasukawa in that green car. And there's Fernandez right there. He's talking over with his engineers about what's happening.
Jack Root's down there with him.
Coming out of fourth, and the car was not ready. The engine is good. The Honda engine was great for the weekend. Something happened on the gearbox, but it wasn't on the shift in Phoenix. This was something else.
Adrian, how difficult is this package to adapt to?
Well, like everything else, something new is always difficult. But at least I managed to get some laps, understand about the racing here and everything else. So it was a good experience, even though we didn't finish. So we should be strong and strong at every race. Good luck down the road.
You can count on him being strong in Indianapolis. He's run well there in the past. As you ride along with Mark Taylor. Taylor back in the 7th position. Only 7 drivers now on the lead lap. And right now you ride some 20 seconds behind the leader.
Yeah, and Taylor will be the next guy that Dan Weldon has his sights on to put a lap down. So Mark Taylor, who's having a very good run. This is his best run of the year, by the way. The best Chevrolet on the racetrack, and he's done a terrific job here today. But,
he is running as a teammate to Schechter. Actually, this is the second car in that Pennzoil Panther team. There was a unit. This is actually part of the old Team Menard entry. Right. But Menard's gone, whoa, hang on, oh!
Just as we're riding along, Tor Takagi got on the inside of him. He got up in the dirt, could not get the thing brought back down, and nailed it into the fence. And you can see the brake lines are broken, so if you're wondering why he didn't stop that thing, it's because once you hit the wall like that, the brake lines, and the brakes are of absolutely no use. All you can do is you got one tire up there to kind of steer it with, and that's about all the control you got at that point. Tough break for Mark Taylor. We're just talking about what a great run he had, but when Takagi got to the inside of him, he got way wide, got up in the dirt, and just absolutely could not turn that thing. This is a great break for everybody except Helio Castroneves.
We started to say that this was part of the John Menard effort from last year, and they kind of hooked up with the Panther team.
Of course, he ran the Infinity Pro cars for them last year. He gave him a shot in there.
Won the championship.
Right. So tough break for him, as this was his best ride of the season so far. And to have it end up like that after running in the top 6 or 7 all day long and on the lead lap.
Now these guys can come in, top off, make their final pit stop, and have enough fuel to go the distance. You see part of the road course there on the infield that goes out under the racetrack.
Yeah, it's a good break for Weldon. It's certainly going to make things a lot easier for him. He doesn't have to worry about when he stops or if he's going to have to stop or whatever. Terrible break for Mark Taylor, and perhaps a bad break for Castroneves. I still think the captain would have at least tried to make it. I don't know whether he could have made it or not, but he would have at least tried.
Well, we'll look again. And there's the pass.
Takagi, you can see once he got up in that dirt, he just could not turn the car. He tried to get it woed. He got on the brakes real hard, but once he got up there, he could not get that thing turned. Didn't make very heavy contact, but any contact at all is not a good thing on a racetrack like this.
Well, the pits are open, so we're going to see everybody make one last pit stop, and then we'll see if Tony Kanaan has anything for his teammate.
Well, let's see what Castroneves does. Let's see if he stays on the racetrack and makes these guys pass him. Because with these yellows, I believe he can definitely make it to the end. He may stay on the racetrack and see if these guys are fast enough to go around him under racing conditions.
Castroneves 28 laps, so he would have to go 58 laps. He can do it.
He can do
with
that.
This yellow, he could do it.
Especially with the yellows. That's right. I think, I don't know. We'll see. Looks like it looks like he came in.
Looks like they're all coming in.
Yeah. Not going to take the chance.
It's easy for us to sit up here in the press box and second guess the captain.
It certainly is, but
so they all come in for their final round of pit stops. And here is the guy to beat.
Again, a flawless pit stop on his part. Boy, he got it. He and Kanaan very
and
close.
Look at that. Castroneves got out in front of Kanaan.
Well, he didn't have to take on as much fuel as everybody else did, so he might have short pitted.
No tires for Castroneves. They topped off the fuel, as you said. He pitted late, so no tires for Castroneves, just topped off the fuel. And that should get him out in second place.
See, all he had to do was put in about 3 or 4 gallons of fuel. He didn't have to put in hardly any fuel. So,
51, Alex Barron has lost a wheel, and he's going to 3-wheel it around. And somebody on that Team Cheever entry will be a little unhappy. And
yeah, whoever's on the left rear is not going to be.
It's going to be a long ride home in that airplane.
Yeah, they obviously tried to make a very quick pit stop, a little too quick for the guy on the left rear.
Well, Castro Neves did get out in front of Kanaan. So on this restart, Castro Neves will be second. But now, Weldon has dominated, with the exception of losing the lead on the first and third pit stop. Here goes the wheel.
Yeah, we're going to watch.
Second car up.
Yeah, second car up there. You can see the car drop right there as it started to come off.
Now who's going to hit the wheel?
No, doesn't look like anybody has good chance to, though. Castro Neves actually, I think, was back in about fourth or fifth spot going in there, so he gained at least 3, maybe 4 spots.
Out to the problem for Vito Mira. And I said, let's push him back and try it again.
Yeah, he's had all kinds of problems here today. He's made contact a couple of times with different people. Looks like now they've got some problems with the gearbox. So not been a great day for him, although he qualified extremely well. This is his first time out. And remember, this is the car.
He's climbing out, Larry.
Yeah, they put this car together in about 3 days, so I don't think they're real unhappy with their results today, even though it doesn't look like he's going to finish.
Well, we'll have a sprint to the finish. Now 27 laps to go, 173 complete. And I would not anticipate a lengthy yellow. The yellow came out on 169. We've been yellow now for 4 laps, but as you said, there was not a lot of damage to that race car.
Now, as soon as they get the race car off the racetrack and get all the pieces picked up, they'll go back green.
So 27 laps to go with Weldon and Castro Neves, then his Weldon teammate Tony Kanaan, Darren Mannon, and Buddy Rice running out the top 5 in the waning laps of this race.
The semi-final of the UEFA Champions League, live on Sky Sports.
Could the dream become reality?
It was the greatest comeback in the tournament's history.
They've knocked out the holders, knocked them out cold.
They go on to face the Portuguese champions.
Absolutely unforgettable.
Now a place in the final is at stake. Porto v Deportivo, Wednesday at 7 p.m, live only on Sky Sports 1.
We're off then, kids.
Every day, families are struggling to cope with cancer, being strong for one another.
Good luck, Dad.
Refusing to give up hope. Please call 0800 975 7000 and give £2 a month to Cancer Research UK. Research has made amazing advances that for many people with cancer have meant the difference between life and death.
I'm all clear.
More people than ever before are hearing the words all clear. But so long as fathers, brothers, friends are still losing their lives to cancer, our work must go on.
It's great.
That's why we need your £2 every month. Please call 0800 975 7000 and give £2 a month to Cancer Research UK. Together we can help even more people hear the words all clear.
How does Evian make you feel?
Bye bye, baby. Remember you're my baby when they give you the eye.
Drink Evian from high in the French Alps. Evian. Live young.
Please call Cancer Research UK on 0800 975 7000. Together we can help even more people hear the words all clear.
You can see Vito Mira out of the car. They're going to put that thing back on the trailer and get it ready for the ride home. Tough break for him.
Likeable driver from Brazil who's in his first race of the season. And look at this. Little unscheduled stop here for Mr. Dixon. They changed the left rear. They said, get out of here. No, it's not on. It wasn't on. But they gave the command to leave, and it was not tight. They got to jack it back up. It's a good thing this is under yellow.
Yeah. See, he was
told to go. He was told to go. He started to pull away and realized that left rear was not intact.
Yeah, I think somebody in the radio told him to stop. It's a good thing he did, or he'd have been in big trouble. But he was the last car on the lead lap, so he had nothing to lose by going in and making that pit stop.
So now only 6 cars on the lead lap, and they caught that under yellow, so he will resume his position at the back of the pack. You see him there along the front straightaway with at least one more lap before we turn them loose. And we'll have a drag race down this front straightaway with about 20, well, when the yellow or when the green comes out, we'll have about 24 laps to go.
Yeah, there's
Vito Mira.
Yeah, having a little drink of water after that that run he had. I think they're going to be happy with that. They're going to be satisfied with that. Not happy, but satisfied with their run. They qualified well. He ran very well all day long. You know, for the first time out and a car that was put together at the very last minute, I think they're pretty satisfied with their results here today.
We've had 3 yellows today. We had the debris yellow on lap 79. We had that Sam Hornish crash on lap 88. And now the Mark Taylor crash on 169. We'll get one more lap under yellow before we turn them loose.
Well, you can watch for Kanaan. He's going to do everything he can to get by Castroneves on this restart. He's not going to want to sit back there and wait. Castroneves, on the other hand, knows that probably the only chance he's going to have to get around Dan Weldon is going to be on this restart.
Last 23 laps will be worth the price of admission.
Yeah, well, if Dan Weldon gets a good restart, doesn't make a mistake, you know, something's
battle for second.
Yeah, it's a battle for second place because he's just dominated this race. And I think that Castroneves has put himself in a great position, but Kanaan also has been very fast. He's been faster than Castroneves has been all day, so that ought to be a great battle.
Castroneves is up there not by speed on the racetrack, but by pit strategy.
Pit strategy, smart racing on his team's part.
Sometimes it's not the fastest that wins, and in this case today it probably will be because Weldon's been totally dominant. Look at Kanaan on the inside. Kanaan dives to the inside, going for second position, and he has it.
Well, he did a very good job. He just got a better start than Castroneves. Castroneves knew it too. He pulled down to the inside. He tried to block him actually, and just couldn't do it. Kanaan had too much speed and blew on by him.
But also a very good start for Dan Weldon.
Well,
right now, this is Dan Weldon's race to win.
Yeah, those two guys back there battling each other gave Weldon the opportunity just to pull away from him, and he's done that. So you're right. If Dan Weldon doesn't make a mistake, it doesn't appear that these guys have got anything for him right now.
Well, Dan has been spot on all day. He's not turned a wheel wrong all day. If he does it now, he's going to win this thing.
There's Dixon. He's following Scott Sharp back there. He's running back in 6th spot. And, of course, Scott Sharp a lap down. But if Dixon wants to get around Rice and Manning, he's going to, well, it looks like he got a great run off there. He's going to get Sharp.
Goes to the inside and goes on by. Now, keep in mind, as you said, Larry, Scott is a lap off the pace. He won this event last year.
Great car, and we've been working to make sure the track was as best as possible, and it was just with the wind picking up as it is, it's a bit treacherous on that outside line, and when you've got someone dive down the inside of you like that into one, you're screwed really, because you've got nowhere to go and you go in that dirt and you just can't turn and you just hit the wall, and it's unfortunate. We were right up there. We were going to get a great result, and unfortunately, it ended early for us.
And guys, it should be pointed out the wind has kicked up considerably, double what it was.
Well, Jack Arute talking about the wind, exactly what you were talking about, Larry. Once he got high and in the marbles, he couldn't get the car to turn.
No, absolutely. You know, once you get out there, very difficult to turn these race cars. Especially, I think it's even more difficult down there in turn 1 and 2 than it is the other end because it's so much tighter.
Well, we'll watch the next time by to see if Kanaan can close in at all. He was 7/10 back the last lap, 0.74 to be exact.
Yeah, this appears like everybody's, well, quite honestly, there's no really good racing from anybody right now. Nobody's really kind of challenging anybody else in that top 5 at this point.
You know what an eyelash is?
Yep.
He just closed the gap in eyelash that last lap.
Yep.
That's not enough to win.
No, that's not enough to win. It's going to be very difficult to close that gap.
He might catch him, but the passing is something else.
Well, his hope right now, Tony Kanaan's only hope is to catch some lap traffic and for Dan Weldon to make a mistake in that lap traffic. If that doesn't happen, then it's going to be awfully hard for him to make that pass.
Well, the big loser in the point standings today will be Sam Hornish. He was 4th coming in, only 12 points out of the lead. coming out of this race, Kanaan and Weldon will enjoy the top 2 spots.
And once again, Weldon is the guy. Is going to be the guy that. Oh boy, Herta's
going to launch an engine. So that Honda didn't go the distance.
Wow, yeah.
There's some problem there that's spewing the oil, or they're saying now it's just smoke.
Well, whatever the smoke is, it's blue smoke, and that's oil smoke, and that's not a good thing out of any kind.
He's out of the race.
Yep. So there won't be any yellow flag, and he has made it back to the pit area, but pretty sure his day will be done.
While we're watching this occurrence, we can tell you that Weldon increased his lead by that eyelash that he just lost a lap earlier.
Yeah, Kanaan doing his best to get up there and challenge, but his teammate has just had things going his way pretty much all day long, and it doesn't appear that unless something happens. Of course, with Herta having problems, that always brings up the possibility that some of these other guys could have problems. It's been warm here this weekend. Not as warm as we've seen in a lot of other places, though, so it shouldn't be a real problem on these engines with the temperatures here in Motegi.
The 90th race for the Indy Racing League, which began back in 1996. Race number 91, the 88th running of the Indianapolis 500. We'll have live flag-to-flag coverage from Indianapolis on the morning of May 30th.
Yeah, and I think this year's Indianapolis 500 is probably going to be one of the best, most competitive Indianapolis 500s we've seen for a long, long time. A lot of very, very good race cars, terrific drivers, and I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be great.
3-liter engine, new for the 500. Of course, with the smaller fuel cells, we'll see probably at least one more pit stop this year.
And that new engine, a lot is going to depend on what kind of development they've all done with that new engine. And here we see Manning and Franchitti. They're not on the same lap. Manning is on the lead lap. He's trying to get back around Franchitti. These two guys have battled a lot.
Franchetti's not made it easy for anybody this afternoon.
No, these two guys have battled a lot in this race for really not being on even the same lap and racing for position. But Manning wants to definitely stay. He's in 4th place right now. He doesn't want to just give up because Rice is not that far behind him.
Kanaan continues a second behind his teammate. Castroneves has now fallen off the pace. He's 3.1 seconds back. Manning is in 4th position, some 4.3 seconds behind your leader. So right now, it's very much as it has been throughout the afternoon, Larry. It's all been Dan Weldon.
Yeah, Matsura, they're running in 8th spot. Scott Sharp, though, catching him.
Now, this is for position.
That's 8th
for the
and 9th.
8th position, right.
Scott Sharp running in 9th. So, Matsura, kind of the hometown hero here. He certainly does not want to lose another position. So
10 laps to go. Actually 9 circuits now. We're watching this battle for 8th position, and we've seen some good battling throughout the pack, even with the guys a lap off the pace. You questioned Franchitti's desire to race. He's racing hard, and he's well off the pace.
He has raced
not off the pace, but he's still Franchitti a lap down to the leaders.
I only questioned his willingness to race before the first race of the year. I haven't since then, let me tell you. He's certainly proven to be.
Of course, he came back from a broken back and back surgery last year. It was not racing related. He actually fell off a motorcycle when he was visiting his home in Scotland. In fact, it was a year ago on his way to Motegi when he had the accident.
Right.
Came back, drove one race, decided to end the season early and get back surgery. So he would be ready for this year. As you watch Castroneves, and he still is over 3 seconds behind your leader now as the waning laps unwind, 7 laps to go.
Considering he ran back in about 17th position for the first 50 laps, he's had a heck of a race. Yeah, he's had a heck of a race, that's right, because he certainly, the first 50 laps was not even in contention. He ran from 13th to 17th for most of that whole first quarter of the race.
Well, this guy came out in practice, was quick, set quick time in qualifying. Now, they didn't qualify here last year, Larry, because the qualification session was rained out. So they lined up according to points with Kanaan and Dixon in the front row. This year they did qualify, and Weldon, for the second straight race, took the top spot. The MBNA pole award going to Danny Weldon for the second straight race as that battle continues back there for 8th position between Matsura and Sharp.
Yeah, Sharp seems to be a little bit faster than Matsura right now, trying to sneak by him, but hasn't. Looks like once he gets up behind him, he kind of loses the front end a little bit, so he can't get a good run off the corner and pass it down the straightaway.
Well, the Hondas are running 1-2, Toyota's 3 and 4, a Honda 5th, Toyota is 6th. The Chevrolets are, well, Barron is still running with a Chevrolet. Schechter is out with his Chevy. Taylor's out with a crash with his, and Buell and Carpenter are both out.
Yeah, Taylor was the fastest Chevrolet of the day, and once he crashed, kind of left them out of the top 10.
It now appears that Honda is going to get their first win ever at the racetrack that they own.
Well, there'll be a lot of celebrating here tonight.
Be some sake consumed.
That's right. They will be very, very happy guys as run here 7 times, have not won, and they've worked very, very hard. You know, it would be a little embarrassing if you owned a racetrack and couldn't win at your own racetrack, and I think that's the way they felt. Not that they would ever admit they were embarrassed, but they certainly did want to win at their own racetrack.
Well, they spent that one practice day, that one test day. They were only given 3 test days, and they used one to test the 3.5-liter engine, knowing that this would be the final race for that power plant. But yet it was well timed, well spent, and it's paid dividends.
Well, that's right, and so you know how badly they wanted to do it if they were willing to waste that day just to have an opportunity.
I'm sure they would use the term waste.
Well,
and with the win here this afternoon.
Well, yeah, use that day.
Use that day
in order to win this race. I guess is a better way to say that.
Wait till that remark gets translated into Japanese. There's the white flag. 1 lap to go for Dan Weldon. And with the exception of the laps that he did not lead because of pit stops, he has been totally dominant here this afternoon.
I think Kanaan led 191 laps the last race. He's going to lead just about the same amount of laps here today, about 190, 191 laps. So.
And here comes your checkered flags for Weldon and for Honda, for Andretti Green. And you think those Honda flags will be flying up there in the grandstand? There's Castroneves just edging Manning for 3rd position. So the Hondas take 1st and 2nd. Toyota's 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Honda's 6th, 7th, and 8th.
Wow,
what a dominant drive.
Manning came on very strong there at the end, almost got around Castroneves there on the last lap.
So the driver who was last year's Bombardier Rookie of the Year picks up his first win. His teammate pulls alongside to offer a congratulatory hand gesture, I'm sure, a big wave from the cockpit, and you can see the happy crews. They pitted together down there, so the 7-Eleven crew.
Of course, they work in the same shop side by side every day, so they have to be happy for each other.
Well, of course, now they would have to be the favorites. You talk about momentum going into Indianapolis. And look, the flags are still waving in a stiff breeze out here. We could not detect the breeze from our vantage point, but look at the jubilation, that youthful enthusiasm.
Well, he's got every right to be proud and happy. He did a terrific job. That whole team had that car. I mean, it was absolutely perfect from the time they unloaded it until right now. I mean, they never missed a beat all week long.
Emberton, England, now residing in Indianapolis, and he's certainly enjoying this victory lap.
Sake for the Japanese, Jim Beam for Dan Weldon. What the heck?
Oh, look at this. Kanaan didn't win, but he's doing the donuts.
He's got to show him that a Honda engine's not going to blow up even under the worst of stress.
So the Andretti Green boys will come out of here with 1 and 2 in your points championship. 3 races down and 13 to go. And our next stop, of course, the 88th running of the Indianapolis 500. And you know, you can't talk enough about momentum. And this team has really put the momentum together after that big win at Phoenix 3 weeks ago and this dominant show here today.
Well, when you stop and think that Dan Weldon is the only guy to finish in the top 5 in every race this year, Tony Kanaan has run first and second in the last 2 races, then you'd have to say that, you know, they have certainly put together one heck of a package. But don't let us ever forget, Indianapolis is owned by the captain, Roger Penske, and they will be tough.
Penske's won 13 times there, dating back to 1972. And what are they going to do here? Is Weldon going to do a donut?
I thought they were going to try to do synchronized donuts. That would not be pretty.
Synchronized swimming, but I don't think they've ever done that on a racetrack.
If they could pull it off, it'd be pretty, but I'm not sure I'd want to try it.
Pretty impressive. The crew there to congratulate him.
Well, he's going to be one happy guy, deservedly so. He drove a great race. He never missed. I mean, you can make a mistake at any point during a race. You have to concentrate so hard for so long. He, being a young guy, probably had an opportunity to make a couple mistakes. He didn't do that, and very much deserves the victory.
Mike Horvath, one of the first guys over there to congratulate him, his chief mechanic. There is Michael Andretti there.
Danny boy!
Told you. Lots of pats on the back from everybody here today.
So do I throw?
Well, you knew it was only a matter of time. And we talked about his learning curve from last season. He made some mistakes. He'd learned from his mistakes. He's had great tutors in Michael Andretti and Tony Kanaan, Brian Herta, Dario Franchitti. What a great position for this young man to be in.
A fantastic position for that man to be in, I have to say. And the old goosebumps, it was a boring race, I think we're fair to say that, but it was only because Dan Weldon and Andretti Green were so good that it was boring. And what a fantastic achievement, Paul, if that's not stating the obvious.
Without a doubt. I mean, Dan did everything that he needed to do. He got on with the job, got ahead, concentrated on his race, and let everyone else wonder about what they were doing. But at the end of it there, did you just see that Castroneves snuck himself into 3rd place from being nowhere? Again, you know, Penske will always salvage points, but certainly this sets Andretti Green up for a fantastic situation at Indianapolis.
Well, I make it that obviously they're now at the top of the tree regarding the IRL Championship, Ben. Great achievement for them, obviously, but as a driver, I mean, I know you'd rather be there than running a London Marathon tomorrow, but from a driver's point of view, it's his first IRL win. He's Rookie of the Year last year. Yeah. He really is in the ascendancy, isn't he?
Definitely. I mean, there was only a millisecond in it between him and Kanaan in qualifying as teammates, but he looked much more dominant in the race, and I think towards the end he had a 6-second lead, which is really impressive stuff. So if he keeps it up, he's got what it takes to possibly win the championship this year.
Indeed. What a fantastic victory for Dan Weldon, dominating the race throughout and never putting a foot wrong. I think the star's been born. Let's get back down to the pit lane and catch up with our first-time winner, who is talking with Jackaroot.
We're going to talk about this being your first victory in a moment, but how important is this victory for your power plant and Andretti Green Racing? Honda finally victorious at the track they own and maintain.
Yeah, I think that's awesome for Honda. His water son from Honda.
Thank you very much.
They worked so hard for this and they deserve it, and the team did a fantastic job. Andretti Green Racing, the Klein Tools Jim Beam car was excellent. My boys were awesome, and the Firestones, the last set, I mean, they stuck, because if you can beat Kanaan around this place, you're doing okay. So it's fantastic. Like I say, for Honda, they worked really hard for this, and I think they deserve it more than any other engine manufacturer in the world. But the Japanese fans are awesome too.
And one of the things that you alluded to in the pre-race with us was the fact that TK, your teammate, Tony Kanaan, was going to be your worst nightmare all day. Was he?
Yeah, he's always my worst nightmare. He plays too many jokes on me. But he's an awesome racing driver, as are Dario and Brian. I have 3 teammates that I honestly think you could put them in any championship in the world and they'd run up the front, whether it have 3 wheels, 4 wheels, 2 wheels, whatever. So it's awesome. It's awesome for the guys.
Let's talk for a moment about the conversation that you had with Tony Kanaan after you brought this Jim Beam Klein Tool car to a stop here. What did Tony have to say to you?
He was just shouting, which is what he normally does. So. But no, like we have a special bond in this team. It's amazing, actually, and just love being part of this, but it's fantastic to win my first RL race here for Honda.
In 12 months, you have gone from a rookie now to the points leader in the Indy Racing League's IndyCar Series, going into the biggest race of the year, the 88th running of the Indianapolis 500. Can you do the double?
It's with this team and with this engine behind me and the Firestones, I think anything's possible. But I mean, you can't get too excited. This series is so competitive that I mean, Indy's going to be very, very difficult.
Sure is going to be difficult. It's going to be live here on Sky Sports, and we're going to talk about Indy 500 right now, I think, because he's linked us in neatly to that. Ben, I mean, it is the big one. It is the biggest motorsports race of the year, bar none. Something like 350,000 advance sold tickets at trackside. It's the one if you're racing in America. In fact, if you're racing in the world, I would imagine it's the one you want to win at some stage in your career.
Yeah, I think it's possibly the biggest motor race in the world on its day, and Weldon knows not to underestimate it. I think he was on his roof last year at over 200 miles an hour, and so coming back to that, he knows it's like no other race in the season. It's a bigger event.
He did make a bit of a mess last year, didn't he? He qualified reasonably well and really made a bit of a mess of it. Do you think that was the occasion that got the better of his nerves, Paul?
I think going into that event, before it, his confidence was rising all the time. He'd had those 2 races with Panther the previous year, gone very well. He'd gone into Andretti Green, he had again qualified well and was starting to race well. It definitely took the wind out of his sails, even to the point, if you remember, that Michael Andretti was talking about maybe standing him down. So in 12 months, boy, he's come on.
It's a special event. What's it mean to the teams? I mean, you've been involved in motorsport for so long. What does it mean to actually have your men right there?
I have to say that in America, the perception is every other race is a motor race, but the Indy 500 is the Indy 500. It's like Le Mans or it's like the Monaco Grand Prix. Everything else is peripheral. The Indy 500 is the one that matters. The pomp and ceremony that goes into it over the whole month of May is a fantastic event, but it is hugely important for sponsors, drivers, and the engine manufacturers. That's why they're doing it.
Talking of pomp and ceremony, I would imagine Honda might be having a little bit of that today. I mean, both in kart and IRL, that's the first time they've ever had one of their motors actually win at Twin Ring Motegi. They must be fairly happy with that, Ben.
I would think so. I mean, it's incredibly competitive, especially between the 2 Japanese manufacturers, Toyota and Honda, racing at the same series. So it wasn't a surprise that it was Chevrolet didn't get a look in, really. And I'm sure they'll be over the moon.
Well, let's take a look then at the results as we are at the moment after today's round 3. There it is then, Dan Weldon taking the win. When I drive past Emberton on my way home this afternoon, I'm going to be very happy to salute Emberton in Buckinghamshire. He's certainly putting that little place on the map, that's for sure. Tony Kanaan, 2nd place then, but that's good for him in the championship. Helio Castroneves there in 3rd, and Penske again rescuing what was not a particularly good day for Penske, you've got to say that, but Helio Castroneves 3rd keeps him right in the hunt. Darren Manning, that's a fine 4th for him. Scott Dixon, the series champion at the moment, defending. Remember, he does have an injury to his lower leg with a fracture of the fibula, I think it is. He's 5th still, and that must have been a tough old race for him. Buddy Rice in 6th place. Dario Franchitti in 7th, and must be wondering what he's got to do to make it to the top end of that particular leaderboard. Kazuki Matsura finishing in 8th place. Good result for the local man there. Scott Sharp in 9th, Toru Takagi in 10th, and Roger Yasukawa, the Californian-based Japanese man there, in 11th place. 12th, Alex Barron. Thomas Scheckter goes out early. Brian Herter, AJ Foyt, read them down. Mark Taylor, well, we saw him in the wall. These are all non-finishers. Vita Mira, what a day he had. Adrian Fernandez, likewise, not doing it for the Mexican viewers. Sam Hornish Jr., he was in the wall. Greg Ray, Robbie Buell, and Ed Carpenter. That's how they look. Championship then, this is the bit that counts. 123 points. Dan Weldon picking up the points for leading the race for the most amount of laps as well. Tony Kanaan on 117. Castroneves on 106. Darren Manning on 90. What a British contingent we have got in this year's Indy Racing League. A superb series, I'm sure you'll agree with that. That's the 2004 driver points. But a lot of rounds left to go just yet. Of course, we were on about the Indianapolis. I think it might be time to put you two right on the spot before we have the month-long preparations for the Indy 500, because they do start fairly soon, don't they, Paul?
Yes, literally when they get home next week, they'll be out on the track 2-3 times a week.
Who are you going to go for then, as far as the Indy 500 is concerned?
It'll probably be the fastest car and driver combination.
Yeah, that's what I like about it. Always sitting on the fence. Now, as a driver, Ben, who's it going to be?
I think I'll put my money with Sam Hornish. He's with a team that's got a great history at Indy, and he's really got the sack to do it. I think of anybody who can hang out the most on the outside of other drivers, and he's really got the drive to do it. That's who it should be.
And Penske, of course, renowned for preparing a good car for the Indianapolis 500. Well, that's it for this week. My thanks, of course, to Paul and Ben. And best of luck in the marathon, of course, tomorrow, Ben. Our next IRL race is the big one itself. It is the Indianapolis 500. And you can, of course, see it live here on Sky Sports 3 at 4:30 p.m. on Sunday the 30th of May. And it might just produce the first British victory in almost 40 years. We'll see you there. In the meantime, we'll leave you now with some images of Dan Weldon's historic victory. Bye for now.